the stuff, the stuff, the stuff, the stuff, the stuff, the stuff. The stuff, the stuff, the stuff, the stuff. What stuff? The stuff, the stuff. Gotta have it. Oh, the stuff.
That's the stuff.
Oh, that's going to the Alchemist mix. Yes. And we're back on. I think what you're saying about like learning how to use new things or like different ways of doing things is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the first things that comes to my mind is living in North Carolina, like we didn't have recycling even, and so like to recycle, I would like smuggle my recyclable items with me to school and like stick them in a bin somewhere or take them to work in a bag and dump them all out. But like and that was normal. Like there were plenty of places with no recycling. And it wasn't like people who lived there didn't care, but the city did not provide the resource.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a socioeconomic implication that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And the other thing I'm thinking about is maybe you could talk about what it is like to compost in the city. Because when I hear compost, I think of like my grandma and like her little can of food scraps, and like I would take it down on Sunday morning and dump it out for her, and she had her little compost thing, or like my dad has this pile in the backyard, and like they'd compost and like mulch for the vegetables.
Yeah.
But that's like that's like a personal thing. Like I'm gonna take my banana outside, and put it on the ground.
I've done that actually.
I have felt less bad about throwing food scraps on the ground.
Yeah.
I feel like it's better than putting it in the trash can.
Right.
Unless it gets picked up by someone doing community service.
Either going to decompose or a squirrel's going to have.
Right. And so I'm actually helping now don't go out and say Shamika said I could throw my food scraps out wherever.
When you get arrested for littering.
Don't blame them. No. I don't play them games. All right, come back to Union with your food scraps and use the bins. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
My name's Lisa Simpson. I think your protest was incredibly brave.
Thank you. This planet needs every friend it can get.
Oh, the Earth is the best. That's why I'm a vegetarian.
Well, that's a start.
I was thinking of going vegan.
I'm a level 5 vegan. I won't eat anything that casts a shadow.
Wow. I started an organic compost pile at home.
Only at home? You mean you don't pocket mulch?
Oh, it's so decomposed. Do you think I could join Dirt first?
Well, we might have an opening at the poser level.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, that point you make about, it's like, composting is not this brand new invention. It's like people have been doing this forever.
Right.
And it's kind of a reflection of how we lived on this planet in a particular way that was actually, sustainable, I guess you could say. I'm a trained theologian now, so I'm suspicious of every single damn word I say.
Very measured.
Yeah. But it was sustainable, and now over the last 200 years or so, since the Industrial Revolution, since the rise of like capitalism and increasing population all over the world, and suddenly and just everything that goes along with that, and this kind of like commodification of culture, and the way that we've become disconnected from our food and where it comes from, and what's in it, and everything. It's like this act of composting. But like Wendell Berry, who, if you don't know, audience is.
I don't know, actually. Yeah.
Wendell Berry is.
Oh wait, class is in session. Hold up.
It's like I gotta learn how to teach. So.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So Wendell Berry is, if you see him for the first time and you don't know who he is, he looks and sounds like an old Kentucky farmer because he is an old Kentucky farmer. Nice. But he is this incredible writer, poet, especially. He's got this I like to describe his poetry as being mystical, but not like in the gobbledygook kind of way. Like,
what's the gobbledygook? Okay. Mysticism has a spectrum. Let's just say that.
Right. But there is a gobbledygook. Spectrum.
There's a poet.
His is more like his poetry. If you just look up Wendell Berry poems, and he has these kind of poems where it's just he's so connected to the earth and is able to describe it in language that is just so beautiful and so amazing. But he's not a theologian like we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Aren't we all though?
Right.
Oh,
We're like, no, I'm sorry.
That's a good point. But he's like, in terms of like for the environmental community, for environmental movement, I guess you could say, he's like a patron saint. He's like this incredible person who, there's not going to be probably not going to be another person like him. He's someone who is very prophetic too. You go back and read some of his books. One of his books, a selection of essays called The Unsettling of America, which he wrote in 1977 or 78. He's seeing, as someone who's a farmer, he's seeing like the coming onslaught of like agribusiness and people being disconnected from the land. And he's able to explain this from his own experience. And for a lot of us, he's someone who's very straightforward way of saying, this is how things are messed up. And one of the things he talks about being messed up is that we've become disconnected from like the wheel of life. The fact that when you put a seed in the ground, something grows, you help it to grow, you cultivate what has been grown, you eat it, or you use it for any number of things that help to increase your quality of life. And then once you're done consuming it, or using it in the way that it's been intended, then what is left over can go back into the ground. And therefore, what goes back into the ground, the organic material left over, helps more, basically replenishes the earth, fertilizes the earth, creates the ground, creates a fertile ground for more things to grow. And we've just become completely disconnected from that in many different ways. So composting in the city is very unique, and it's very kind of a contextual kind of thing. I know that for the edible churchyard, we have this huge tumbler full of stuff that is composting at some kind of speed. I'm not 100% sure. I'm looking for compost. I'm looking for a compost consultant because I'm not an expert on how the compost process happens, but someone who could look in there and see, okay, well, this is okay, and this is ready, and maybe we need to do this. And we have a lot. We have more than we need for our little bitty roof up there. Right. And it's like the compost is called farmer's gold. So it's very valuable.
Yeah.
And I think in the city, really, we're lucky in New York City. I think maybe some people might disagree with me on this, but we do have a lot of green spaces. You can find spaces where you can kind of get some facsimile of nature in a sense. You can go deep into Central Park in that wooded section up top, and you can almost pretend you're not in the city until a helicopter flies 5 feet over your head.
There you go. With those few seconds that you're lost,
yeah,
amazing.
But really, I think, it's amazing. But where composting the city, I think, really happens is in community gardens, because one of the things is that it's a challenge in New York City to find soil that is healthy, because, for example, in the North Quad, there is contaminants in the soil from a paint factory that was there 135 years ago. But there's still things in the soil, and we've been going through this kind of remediation process of the soil as part of the project to create a native plant garden. So there really is a need, and a lot of people who see community gardens in the city use raised beds, and they'll bring in soil. They won't necessarily use the soil if they're doing a garden on the ground, they'll raise the bed. And probably, and I see this kind of in community gardens in Harlem, they'll probably bring in soil, live soil. But then I think compost is so important because whether you're in a city environment, an urban environment, or if you have a farm upstate, using compost and having kind of a system of compost is basically saying no to pesticides, basically saying no to artificial fertilizers and chemical fertilizers. I just think the difference in the city is that I think it's just on a much more smaller and particular scale. I think it's a little bit more of a personal thing, actually, in a sense. That, of course, is part of communities, but it's just from what I've seen on farms, nobody really has big compost piles anywhere in the city. The way that I do is I put stuff in my freezer and I take it down to the bins.
I didn't think it was an ice cream flavor.
they had this salted caramel something or other, and I was gonna get that for you. And then I was like, no, she didn't say anything about salted caramel.
I'm kind of on the fence about that. I mean, I enjoy it, but
Oh, well, maybe next time.